From the very first day, Arslan knew there was something different about the small German shepherd puppy in his arms. Its soft brown eyes held a spark of loyalty so pure that it made his heart ache. He named him Shadow, because wherever Arslan went, the pup would follow. Whether it was walking to the tea stall at the corner, working in his small shop, or simply sitting under the neem tree outside their home, Shadow was there, playful, attentive, and full of love. The bond between the two wasn't just of pet and owner. It was deeper. Shadow wasn't simply a puppy. He was family, a heartbeat that filled the silence in Arslan's life. In the quiet town where life moved slow, Shadow became his joy, his protector, and his friend. But one ordinary morning, everything changed. The marketplace was alive with the chaos of vendors shouting prices, carts squeaking over rough ground, and children running between stalls. Arslan held Shadow's leash, careful not to lose him in the crowd. But in one distracted moment, as Arslan bargained for vegetables, Shadow slipped away, pulled by some unseen distraction. A smell, a sound, a rush of curiosity. By the time Arslan turned back, the leash was loose in his hand. Shadow was gone. And just like that, the bond that once felt unbreakable was torn apart. The next hours stretched into a nightmare. Arslan ran through the marketplace calling Shadow's name until his throat burned. He searched every stall, every alley, every corner where a scared puppy might hide. Shopkeepers shook their heads, children shrugged, and some even said, "Dogs don't survive long when lost in this area." But Arslan refused to believe it. Shadow was strong, clever, and brave. He had to be somewhere. Days passed, but each day ended in heartbreak. Arslan made posters with Shadow's picture, taped them to poles, and begged strangers for information. His nights were restless. He wandered the streets until dawn, whispering Shadow's name into the wind. The silence that answered him was unbearable. People told him to give up. "It's just a dog," they said. But to Arslan, Shadow wasn't just a dog. He was a companion who filled the emptiness in his life. Without him, the house felt hollow. Every morning, Arslan would instinctively glance at the doorway, waiting for the sound of paws rushing to greet him. But only silence greeted him. Each day that passed, hope became harder to hold. Still, Arslan couldn't stop searching. By the 15th day, exhaustion weighed heavily on him. His legs ached from walking, his voice cracked from shouting, and his heart felt like it was being crushed under a mountain of grief. Yet he couldn't stop. Love wouldn't let him. He visited police stations, shelters, and even garbage dumps where stray dogs searched for scraps. His eyes scanned every shadow, every movement, praying it would be Shadow. But it never was. Neighbors began whispering that Arslan had lost his mind. They pitied him, but none understood the depth of his love. Each night, he prayed, not for himself, but for the small puppy who might be cold, hungry, or scared in some corner of the city. On the 20th day, hope felt like it was slipping through his fingers. Arslan sat on the steps of his shop, staring into the distance, ready to accept that maybe Shadow was truly gone. And then, a call came. The voice on the other side was tired but kind. "Are you the man who lost a German shepherd puppy?" Arslan's heart stopped. Yes, that's me. Did you find him?" "There's a weak puppy at the station," the officer replied, picked up wandering near the bus stand. "He matches the description on your posters. You should come." Arslan didn't even wait to lock his shop. He ran, his chest pounding, his legs trembling. Every second felt like an eternity. When he arrived at the police station, his breath caught in his throat. There, behind the bars of a small kennel, lay a thin, frail German shepherd puppy. His fur was dirty and dull, his ribs visible, his body trembling with weakness. "Shadow," Arslan whispered, tears blurring his vision. But Shadow didn't move. He lifted his head slightly, eyes clouded with exhaustion. He didn't recognize the man standing before him. The bond that once felt unshakable seemed broken by suffering. Arslan fell to his knees beside the kennel, his voice breaking. "It's me, Shadow. I never stopped looking for you. I'm here, boy. I'm here." At first, Shadow only stared, confusion in his tired eyes. But then slowly something shifted. His nose twitched, catching a familiar scent. His ears perked ever so slightly. And then, with a sudden spark of recognition, Shadow whimpered. A small, weak sound. But to Arslan, it was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. Shadow dragged himself forward, pressing his frail body against the bars, as if trying to crawl into Arslan's arms. Tears poured down Arslan's face as he reached through, stroking the puppy's thin fur. "I've got you now," Arslan whispered. "I'll never let you go again." The officers looked on silently, some wiping their eyes. Even hardened men felt the power of the reunion. Arslan wasted no time. He carried Shadow to the vet, cradling him as though he were the most precious treasure in the world. The doctor shook his head at the puppy's condition, dehydrated, malnourished, and weak from days of wandering. But Arslan didn't care about the difficulties. He stayed by Shadow's side through every injection, every drip, every treatment. He spoon-fed him broth, wiped his fur with warm cloths, and whispered encouragement as if his words could heal the wounds. Day by day, Shadow grew stronger. His dull eyes began to shine again. His tail, once still, started wagging weakly. The bond they shared returned, stronger than before, forged in pain and reunion. Soon, Shadow was running in the courtyard again, chasing after butterflies and barking with joy. The puppy, who had once been too weak to recognize his master, was now healthy, loyal, and more loving than ever. Months later, as the sun set behind the hills, Arslan sat on the porch with Shadow curled at his feet. The memory of those 20 painful days still haunted him, but it also reminded him of the miracle of reunion. He looked down at the German shepherd, now full of life, and whispered, "Never again, Shadow. I'll protect you for as long as I breathe." Shadow lifted his head, eyes gleaming with love, and placed a paw on Arslan's hand, as if making a promise of his own. Their story wasn't just about loss and recovery. It was about a bond so deep that even 20 days of despair couldn't destroy it. And as the night settled around them, one truth remained clear. Sometimes love gets lost, but real love always finds its way home.